They say knowledge is power. But what if too much knowledge becomes a burden? What if thinking too deeply, questioning everything, leaves you feeling isolated, disconnected, and out of sync with the world? In this video, we're diving into a question few dare to ask. Is intelligence a curse in disguise? We'll explore what great minds like Nietzsche, Simone Weil, and Carl Jung believed about intellect and alienation. We'll talk about the invisible wall that separates deep thinkers from the rest of society. And most importantly, we'll ask the question no one wants to answer. Is it better to be happy and ignorant, or aware and alone? Let's begin. The mirror of the mind. Imagine this. You're standing in front of a mirror, but it doesn't reflect your face. It reflects your thoughts, every fear, every contradiction, every question you've buried deep. Now imagine that mirror never breaks. That's what it's like to be a deep thinker. It's not about IQ. It's about being unable to look away, unable to shut off the voice that asks, why, 1,000 times a day. The more you think, the more you notice. The patterns behind people's actions, the hypocrisy in ideologies, the absurdity in the structures we worship. And as you see more, you begin to speak less. Because when you truly see, you realize most people don't want to. The curse of awareness. Carl Jung once said, "A man who is unconscious of himself acts in 1,000 foolish ways, but feels justified. But the man who is aware, he sees his foolishness, and it crushes him." That's the paradox. The more aware you are, the less comfort you have. You start to question things that once felt solid. Love, morality, success, meaning. You see how much of it is manufactured, scripted, bought and sold. You no longer feel at home in the world. This is the hidden cost of consciousness. You gain clarity, but lose certainty. You gain depth, but lose ease. And worst of all, you can't unsee it. Intelligence and loneliness. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Loneliness. Not the kind that's cured by a night out or a text message. I'm talking about existential loneliness. The feeling of being fundamentally misunderstood. Most people want comfort. You want truth. They want routine. You crave freedom. They speak in answers. You speak in questions. So what happens? You shrink. You start hiding your ideas, your depth, your doubts. You wear a mask not to deceive, but to survive. Because here's the truth. It's not that people don't understand you, it's that they don't want to. And so, the more intelligent you are, the lonelier it often becomes. Not because you're better, but because you're different. The social tax of thinking differently. Society rewards intelligence, but only if it's obedient. It wants innovation, but not rebellion. It wants ideas, but not doubt. It wants minds, but not souls. If you think too deeply, you'll start to question untouchable things. Like, why do we work jobs that make us miserable? Why is suffering the default in modern life? Why do we mistake noise for connection? And the moment you start asking these questions, really asking, you start to feel unwelcome. You become the disturbance in the matrix, the glitch in the system, the thinker who refuses to just play the part. And make no mistake, society has ways of silencing those who think too deeply. They call you a cynic, a pessimist, a conspiracy theorist, or worse, a failure. Not because you're wrong, but because you make people uncomfortable, finding peace in depth. So is it all pain? Number, there's a strange beauty in the struggle. Yes, deep thinking isolates, but it also reveals truths most people never see. It teaches you to love solitude, to appreciate silence, to find joy in understanding, not just pleasure. You start to value realness over approval, meaning over success, integrity over convenience. And while the road is lonelier, it is also richer. Because once you make peace with being different, you find others who are different too. They're quiet, often invisible, but they're out there. The thinkers, the feelers, the wanderers. And when you find them, you no longer feel cursed. You feel understood. So is intelligence a curse? Maybe. But maybe it's also a calling, a responsibility, a quiet rebellion against a world that prefers sleep over awakening. If you feel alone in your thoughts, you're not broken, you're just awake. And in a world that fears depth, that might just be the bravest thing of all. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay curious, stay honest, and above all, keep thinking.